But you and I know that they're different in a lot of ways. Okay? Now, what does it have to do with what I'm trying to say? But you know what? Technology changes how companies and markets organize themselves. Let me tell you something, that a lot of companies organized by countries, right? But the internet has broken the boundary of countries. I can live stream, I can talk to somebody, text somebody halfway around the world of a different culture, of a different country. Am I right? I can have a virtual class. Let me tell you what's happening in Hong Kong right now. A lot of you have seen the news. Hong Kong's got protests weekend after weekend. It feels like it's just never ending. Do you know that our independent beauty consultants can't go out on the weekend because there's always a threat of protests? And usually the police say, hey, this afternoon at 2 o'clock, roughly around this area, we're going to start closing roads. We're going to start closing the metro, the MRT. So people rush home really quick. And so a lot of our beauty consultants say, I can't hold beauty classes. I can't go out to meet potential clients. Guess what they do? They have to use technology, right? They have to innovate, meaning they have to use a different method to do their business. So they use Zoom. Zoom is a video, kind of a real-time video meeting, chat, kind of a tool, and they do it online. And you know what I found? I found that, thinking that, Hong Kong business is going to go down. Every other business is at least 40 to 50% down, okay? Most retail, general retail, hotel is down even more because tourism, nobody wants to go to Hong Kong because they're afraid they're going to get stuck in protest. But do you know that our Mary Kay Hong Kong business only went down single digits, so no more than 10%? Well, how does that happen? It's technology. Technology, but also them believing in the Mary Kay dream and having grit, G-R-I-T, meaning toughness, to do the best they can. When tough things happen, people will band together. Last week, KK and I were at Philippines. Actually, last Saturday, Sunday, at their start of the year meeting. They call it Jump Start. So all of the sales directors and NSDs were there. I tell you, this past year, Philippines has had it really tough. If it isn't typhoon, it's earthquake. And last Sunday, KK and I got on the plane. We took off about noontime. And I think a few hours after that, the volcano south of Manila erupted. So they shut the whole airport down for the next 2-3 days. And when we landed, I looked at the pictures and said, oh my God. I mean, the volcano ashes were spewing up thousands of feet up in the air. So all the air traffic was stopped. And, different parts of Manila, south of Manila, had to be evacuated. I mean, our beauty consultants can't catch a break in the Philippines. So I think back to us here, whether it's Singapore or Malaysia. Is there a threat of natural disaster going on right now?
No.
No, it's pretty peaceful. Great day today. Is there a threat of protest or war or civil unrest like Hong Kong? No.
No.
So why are our sisters in other parts of our Mary Kay world able to do what they do, is using technology, being innovative, using the best method they know how?
Amen.
So I challenge you today, what you learned yesterday, in terms of different techniques, try that, hone that. I guarantee you this coming decade, I don't even know if the cell phone is going to be what it is. There's going to be another tool that somebody is working on right now that will vastly improve communications. And you need to stay ahead of that. You need to not be skeptical, not be afraid of tools. Those of you who've been in the business for a while, as you recruit younger beauty consultants, empower them, ask them, what are your friends, what software, what app do they use? How do you communicate? Empower them. Don't feel like, hey, I'm a 20-year experience, you know, senior EESD or EESSD or, you know, I'm an NSD and, you know, PhD or whatever. I know more than, you know, the young ones. Let me tell you, the future is the young ones.
Yeah.
I travel a lot lately, so when I'm on the plane, I usually try to watch a movie of the cultural language that I'm going to, okay? So for example, if I fly into China, I watch a Pudonghua movie because I wanted to understand the culture, the language, you know. So recently I, was flying, I think, out of Hong Kong and, into Philippines, and Filipinos use English, right? So I watched a documentary, and the title of it, and I encourage you to go look at it, it's called General Magic, okay? I was flipping through the movies and what is that, like no description, nothing interesting. It's General Magic, so I clicked on it, and it was only an hour, so it had plenty, enough time because it's a short plane ride. But I loved it because it was a story about a small company in Silicon Valley in the US, in California, that was started by the Apple company, Apple Computer, back in 1991. It was a top secret little company, and they were working on the next generation of computers. Now, back in the 1990s, Apple IIe, I don't know if you guys remember this big old box, right? The monitor with the disk drive, the printer just came out, so you had to hook up a big old printer, got a big old brick of a Apple IIe monitor with a computer, and then the fax machine came out. So it's like 3 big chunks of plastic, and that was the time in which, the computer age was born, if you will. But this company called General Magic was working on a little computer that's the size of probably thicker than your cell phone and my cell phone right now, but kind of basically a mobile computer device. Back in 1991.
Okay.
And I think 10 years later, the first mobile phone came out. So what I'm telling you this is that in 10 years' time, technology will leap forward. And the people that you recruit, the customers that you talk to, will use different technology. And so you need to always pay attention to the youngest one amongst your group, because they're the ones who will lead the future in the next 10 years. And so always remember, we all will age, right? But you're gonna have to bring offspring, bring customers in to fill that gap every 10 years so that the Mary Kay business and your business can continue. And the key to that is you having awareness and sensitivity to technology and how that's changing, and not be afraid of it. Now, let me transition a little bit. I think I talked enough about innovation. Because I want to get at the heart and the core of the business and who we are. Now, I have a dream for you, okay? Earlier I talked about we are 2 markets combined into one, Singapore and Malaysia. Now, lately, my team and the region team and also the local, Malaysia, Singapore team has been studying how do we grow this market, your market, both Singapore and Malaysia. Now, I can tell you that when we looked at the business, we looked at what was Hong Kong like. Hong Kong has 20 years of operating experience, Singapore has 10, right? So my dream for you is, Hong Kong is similar to Singapore in a lot of ways. Actually, in the world stage and in Asia, Hong Kong and Singapore often compete with each other.
Yeah.
Right? They're small little kind of a space on a dot, next to a giant country. Hong Kong, China, and Singapore, Malaysia. But Hong Kong was able to grow 2 to 3 times what Singapore is today. Okay? So my dream, Singapore, I need you to grow 2 to 3 times. You say, oh, Sam, that's crazy, you know. So how do I sell 2 to 3 times more what I sell today, right? Hey, nobody said a dream was easy. Mm-hmm. But I saw Hong Kong able to do that. So I want to see NSDs come out of Singapore. Yeah. Flo's gonna do it, right? Not just one, I don't want to see 2, I want to see 3. People need to see symbols of success and people making it. So Singapore, I have a lot of hopes in you. And you know, we're working hard. I want you to be patient. We as a company, we have a lot of hopes and dreams on Singapore.
Yes, thank you.
Malaysia, you guys can not just grow within the current market, but let me tell you, paint a picture of the future of Malaysia and Singapore, okay? This region that you live in right now, that we are in right now, there's at least a population of over 500 million people in this region that do not have the opportunities of Mary Kay. 500 million at least. You are only 60 million or so between Malaysia and Singapore, over 60 million. There's 500 million people. Those of you who are Malays, who are Muslim, you have a unique opportunity to reach out to other Muslims in this part of the world. And one day we will go there. So do your business well. Learn the basics of selling. Learn technology. Because one day we may enter a new market without using the traditional way that we've been doing things, but using technology. Because the world is changing. So I wanted to paint that dream for you that Singapore, Malaysia could be a launching base for future new business for Mary Kay in the ASEAN region. You understand that dream? You understand that dream? It may take us a few years to get there, but that is my hope, and that is my commitment to you, that we will find a way in the coming year or two to figure out how to do that, to plan. So today, I need your patience, I need your persistence in doing your business, to learn to recruit the best people you can, the smartest, the brightest, the hardest working ones. The ones who are open to change, open to trying new things. And then I want to talk to the management team for a second. Usually we don't do that a lot in front of, you know, the sales force. But I think we are one team, aren't we? The sales force and the management team need to partner together, work together. I can't have 2 different teams separate and I give 2 different messages. So I want all of you to hear. So I want the management team to remember not to forget about Singapore. I understand that Malaysia is a very big market, right? We have products and we have to cater to the majority, you know, of the customers that our IBCs reach. But don't underestimate the power of Singapore. And it's just my honest heart to you kind of suggestion and admonishment. And so today I wanted to say that to you because I think this place has a lot of potential and power. 500 million people are waiting for us to go into. And finally, I want to close with something that really touched my heart because, you know, a few weeks ago I was in Taiwan, their leadership conference, and one of our folks, you know, Rubia and her offspring, Acha, traveled to Taiwan. I think Acha is your first time in Taiwan, right? First time? And for an hour and a half, she shared her story, the longer, the full version than what you heard yesterday. And let me tell you, there wasn't a person in the room that wasn't crying. And so I told Asha, I told her yesterday, and I told her, every time when I see you, I'm going to keep reminding you that you have a special and powerful story to tell. Don't ever forget that. And when you become successful like you are now, and even more successful, and people clap their hands and say, hey, congratulations, wow, that's a great story, never forget where you came from. Don't just focus on being the next, youngest NSD. That will come. Focus on helping people create their dreams from poverty, from lack of opportunity, to growing into being somebody. I know Ruby is like, no. She needs to focus on being NSD. She's worried there. But I love the story of Acha. I need all of you to create more stories of Acha. Can you do that?
Yes.
I'm telling you, I live in Hong Kong. I'm not there a lot, but when I go back, I don't know if you've been to Hong Kong. Every Sunday, there are thousands of domestic helpers sitting on the streets, okay? They bring their own cardboard. I share this with the Philippines team because in Hong Kong, there are about 400,000 foreign domestic workers in Hong Kong that work in Hong Kong. Half of them are Filipinos, and roughly the other half are Indonesians. And every Sunday is their only day off. And because Hong Kong is small, they don't really stay home and, whoever the family they work for, they go out to the streets. And they line the sidewalk with cardboard paper. And they sit on the floor and they talk and they eat. And everywhere you see in the city is flooded with domestic workers underneath, bridges and wherever little corner that you can find on sidewalks and streets. And my heart breaks. Do you know why? Because a lot of those ladies have kids at home. They left their husbands to go to a foreign country to earn some money to send back home. I need you to have that mission, that mindset. How can I help these women that they can stay home in their country, raise their kids, love their husband? Do you understand what I'm saying? The opportunity that you give people, it's hope. It's not just selling them cosmetics, it's changing their lives because your life has been changed. This is the biggest reason, the biggest joy that brings me the short time that I've been with this company. That in the past at Disney, I gave kids one day of happiness and hope, forgetting about the problems of the world. One day in the theme park of joy. But at Mary and Kate, I get a chance, you get a chance to give somebody happiness for the rest of their lives. And so that is the message I want you to go away today remembering for the rest of the year, for the rest of the decade, that you work hard with all your might, with all the mind that Allah, that God gave you to enrich and change another woman's life. And from it will flow riches, money, and opportunities, and hopefully, love at home and with family. All those things will come. But you're, just like KK said yesterday, what is your goal? What is your mission? Why are you here? What's the purpose of your life? And so thank you so much in the beginning of the year to give me a chance to share with you from my heart what I see as a newcomer, as a stranger coming into our company now. It's my company too. But I watched you. I watched what you share, the tears you shed, the transformation, the change that you tell, the story that you tell. And never forget that, because that is the most powerful thing. It doesn't matter what you sell. People need to see that you are a real person, a genuine person. They need to trust you, and then they will follow you. They will buy what it is that you sell, that you say that this is good product. But that shouldn't be the first thing. Our job is to change people's lives, to enrich women's lives. So thank you again. Happy New Year.